Good morning, lovely. ZoëTwoDots here with some more Pokemon goodness for you. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. So there have been quite a number of announcements yesterday from the Pokemon company. In this video we're going to be talking about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. And in tomorrow's video we're going to talk about Pokemon Quest, which is on the Switch. It's free to download right now, Pokemon Quest. So if you want to grab that and you've got a Switch, download, free to start, get rolling in that one. But we're going to go into more detail with that one tomorrow. So, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu on the Nintendo Switch will be new games. They were announced yesterday, and there's been a wide variety of reactions to this new game that's coming. That can be the first Pokemon main series game on the Switch, or like main Pokemon title on the Switch. We had Pokken Tournament, which was pretty much like the same as the Wii U game on the Switch. Yeah, unless you're heaps into fighter games or into Pokken itself. I wouldn't really count that one. This is the first Switch Pokemon game, I would say. And yes, the reactions have been wide and varied. Many hardcore main series core game players a little bit miffed that it seems to be a bit of a more basic style of gameplay. So from what we've seen in the trailer, it's more of a go and encounter Pokemon in the wild. It's not a random appearance or occurrence. You don't just have them pop up in the long grass. You can actually see Pokemon walking around and go up and encounter them. And then instead of battling them, you just straight away throw a ball at them to catch them. So you don't battle wild Pokemon by the looks of it from these trailers. There was only shown in the trailer battling other trainers or NPCs. So in this aspect, I suppose, there's a few things that are quite different from the main series game in that you're not battling wild Pokemon, which is very different. Normally you would, in a main series game, battle down a wild Pokemon till it was weakened and then throw a ball so that you were able to catch it. And battling wild Pokemon is also used for things like Evee training and Evee training? No, Evee training. So that seems like it may not be a feature in this game, or it might be achieved in a different way. The graphics look absolutely adorable, really crisp. It's kind of like almost like an ultra Pokemon X. When Pokemon X and Y first came out and had that new kind of 3D model style of animation and gameplay, that really was like a massive change up for the main series games in how the game looked. And this seems to be pushing it that tiny bit further, utilizing everything that the Switch can physically perform with, and kind of fully realizing that style. I think is really well polished. It looks absolutely adorable, and I am keen to see it actually in my hand. So let's go through a few of the other features as well before I give my opinion. And I'm pretty positive, and I've got a few good reasons why I think this will be a good thing. Not just for people that are new to the series, but a good thing overall for Pokemon on the Switch and Pokemon as a whole. So depending on which version of the game you get, you will have either Pikachu or Eevee. Pikachu on your back, I think, and Eevee on your head, always following you around as your buddy, and you can use them in battle as well. It is also stated on the Pokemon website that depending on which version of the game you get, there will be other wild Pokemon that will be different. So that's pretty standard. We've come to expect that from Pokemon games they release to Sun and Moon or X and Y, and there are certain Pokemon that are exclusive to each of them, and you can only usually get those through trading to each other, or owning 2 copies of the game and trading to yourself. So it's going back to the Kanto regions. All that was shown in the trailer was original 151 or 150 Pokemon. It says as well, in terms of other trading aspects with Pokemon Go, you can trade Pokemon from Pokemon Go from the original 150 to Pokemon's Let's Go. Oh my god, these titles are going to get confusing. You can go from the phone to the Switch. We'll get into that a bit more later, but they've only discussed Pokemon from the original 150 so far. I don't know if there could be more. It's very possible, but that's all that's been mentioned and shown is original 150 gen Pokemon. So depending on which version you get, Pikachu or Eevee being exclusive, and then there will apparently be a few more in each version that are exclusive to that version. So I don't know if trading is going to be a thing. They haven't really mentioned trading outside of the Pokemon Go aspect of it, but if not, it's going to be pretty hard to finish a Pokédex if there isn't trading, considering there are exclusives. So we'll have to wait and see. Another few cute features are Pokemon now follow behind you, so you'll have your buddy on your shoulder, but also can choose to have a Pokemon follow behind, which was one of my favorite features from Pokemon Soul Silver. It's just really cute. It's very nice to just like walk around with your Pokemon. You could, in those games, turn around and interact with your Pokemon. It would give you a happy face or maybe a sad face if it needed to get some healing, or indifferent if you weren't quite good friends yet. But the more you walked around, the better buddies you got with that Pokemon, and they would respond by, you know, singing their little cry or being a bit happy, and, you know, giving you the little happy thumbs up or love heart kind of emote in the Soul Silver games. Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Another cute little feature is that you can give outfits to your Pikachu or your Eevee, possibly more, but those were the two that were shown in the trailer. You can now co-op with your friends. Local co-op has been shown in the game, so you being the main controller of the storyline and of your own destiny, your friend can grab one of your other Joy-Cons and play together. So pretty much you can use your friend that is with you to throw simultaneously and get bonuses for catching by the looks of it, and then also double battle versus other trainers. So you and your friend will battle against the NPC trainer. I think this is a really, really interesting feature, and I'll come back into that in a little bit. And lastly, they announced the oh my god, what is it called? The Pokeball Plus, which is a Joy-Con in itself with a controller, kind of where the white button on a Pokeball would normally be is a Joy-Con controller. It has built-in speakers, flashing lights, all the bells and whistles, so you can use this to actually control your game. In the game, control your character, move around. You can also use it to throw to catch Pokemon in the game, and it also doubles as a Pokemon Plus. I would also say that it seems to double as a Pokemon Walker that was first released with Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I think it only ever came out with those as well. So let's break that down. So the Poke Walker is this device here. It was pretty much a Pokemon pedometer. So you would load up a game from your 3DS onto your Poke Walker. It would pop up, it's out of battery. It would pop up pixelated, like tiny little pixel sprite of your Pokemon there. There was a clip option to clip it on your belt if you were cool. But basically, put it in your pocket, clip it on your belt, and this acts as a little pedometer. The more steps that you got, or the further you walked throughout the day, your Pokemon would find items. It would encounter other Pokemon potentially, and pick up things along the way. So when you transferred your Pokemon back to the main game on your 3DS, you had bonus items, you had maybe encountered a Pokemon that you could then try and catch, all kinds of cool stuff with the Poke Walker. So this was an incentive to basically get out the house, kids, go for a walk. Can we get these children off their video games? Go for a walk. I think Pokemon Go is obviously the biggest implementation from Nintendo and from the Pokemon company of getting outside and getting active. But this was one of their early integrations for, hey, go on, go for a bit of a walk with incentives. The other device that this Pokeball Plus is similar to is the Pokemon Go Plus. The little, oh my god, I didn't bring it here. You know what it looks like. The Pokemon Go Plus, that is a device used in Pokemon Go to catch Pokemon and to spin stops. The Pokeball Plus has that functionality built in as well. So the biggest downside I think to this Pokeball accessory is that it only has a 3-hour battery life, which is a little bit rubbish in my opinion. It's so hard though because it is a Joy-Con, and the Switch itself, like the Joy-Cons for the Switch itself, have their own individual battery life. Because you can play with them out of like docked mode, you can just use them handheld. The oh my god, there's so many words. The Switch Joy-Cons have their own internal battery life as well. They will eventually run out if you leave them undocked from the device or uncharged. So the Pokeball Plus, being that it is a Joy-Con, a speaker, it says that it has the is it haptics, like the crazy super soft like touch. Basically when you catch a Pokemon using the Pokeball Plus, you will feel the Pokemon move around inside the ball. If you're successful with the catch, the lights will flash, the Pokemon's cry will cry out. It is doing a lot of work, so it is rough that it's only 3 hours, but at the same rate it is doing a lot of things. If you've ever played things like 1-2 Switch or any of the games that really show off the Pokemon, I keep saying Pokemon, the Switch Joy-Con kind of vibration controls, there is insane amount of detail in the actual vibration in the controllers themselves. They are a fantastic piece of technology. One mini game is pretty much guessing how many balls are in the box, and the box is I'll show you. The box is the Joy-Con, and basically what you do is you hold it in your palm and tip it from side to side, and you can literally feel individual marbles rolling around in the box, in the Joy-Con. It is phenomenal. You can feel the individual marbles clinking against each other. These things are some phenomenal technology in themselves. So the fact that the Ball Plus only lasts 3 hours is, it's good and it's bad. I mean, obviously, I think ideally a 4 to 5 hour battery life would have been more reasonable if it was achievable at that size, just because if you are taking it out on the go, there isn't much that a lot of people do in their day that's only 3 hours, like maybe going out for lunch and coming back home, you know, done in 3 hours. But if we're doing things like going out and adventuring or going out to play Pokemon Go for a full day, it's going to be a lot longer than that. So in terms of using it as a Go Plus, I don't see it outperforming the Go Plus in itself, except for the fact that it is a very cool and a very cute way to use a Go Plus. But I think definitely the incentives in the Switch, when they become more clear as to what those bonuses are, in the Switch version of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, that's when taking it out and about with you might become more beneficial. So essentially what you're going to want to expect from the Pokeball Plus is a wrist strap and a Pokeball. Throwaway, interactive cuteness when it rocks and catches the Pokemon, flashing lights and all that good stuff. But definitely I think the in-game incentives are going to be what kind of pushes and sells that product. There's going to be something, a reason for you to buy it in the Switch more than just it being, oh, it's really cute and really tactile. There's going to be something else. So in my mind, in my marketing mind, there's going to be something else, additional incentive for you to want to own that product. After that is connectivity to Pokemon Go. So in the trailer it is shown that you can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go to the Switch. You cannot transfer them back. Do not transfer something that you love and that you use constantly in Pokemon Go. So once it's on the Switch, it's in the Switch, and then you have to recatch it in the Switch. The reason I think that probably is because the stats will change between each game. I imagine that transferring a 1000 CP Dratini isn't going to equal that in the Switch game. It's going to be a Dratini, and then its stats will probably be scaled to whatever the stats are reasonable in the Switch game. The benefit though in Pokemon Go is being able to transfer presents, or potentially, there was one shown in the trailer, but I mean, there's probably like avenues for potentially more rewards, more items, possibly other things to be sent from Switch to Pokemon Go. Obviously to keep incentivizing that cyclical relationship between the two games. You want to have incentive to be doing both. You don't want to have incentive just to be turfing all of your Pokemon into the Switch game and never playing Pokemon Go again. They want you to be playing both, so there's going to be some sort of benefit, most likely, to go back into the Pokemon Go. And one of those benefits is that there's going to be a new Pokemon that you can receive as a present in Pokemon Go, and this isn't like a new Pokemon as in something from Gen 5 that's not in Go yet. It is, they've stated on Twitter that it is an entirely new Pokemon, most likely one of the new Pokemon that will be coming out in Gen 8. And Gen 8 games are most likely coming out next November, not this November, so next year, 2019. They did state that there'll be 2 more main series games coming out for 2019. I would anticipate that that is Gen 8 on the Switch. So let's break down my thoughts on this game. I think this is going to be really a smart way to get new players into a main series game, into a main series console. It's going to be a console seller in that people that are already hardcore fans of Pokemon, and they've been playing all the core series games their entire life. They've grown up with it. We've all grown up with it. Potentially, not everyone, but a lot of us have grown up with the game. Starting on Game Boy, going all the way through all the different consoles, and now onto the Switch. And everyone's been itching for a main series game on the Switch. And it is different. It's not what people were expecting necessarily for a Switch main series game. And here's why I think it is. Pokemon Go, to me, is the renaissance of Pokemon, the Pokemon franchise being revitalized. The Pokemon franchise never died necessarily, but Pokemon Go was an absolute avenue for getting new players, people that never played as a kid, people who thought they were too old when Pokemon came out, people that weren't even born when Pokemon came out, picked up Pokemon Go and got so many hundreds of thousands and millions of people interested in Pokemon. Obviously, the hype around the original launch, people were, oh, Pokemon Go is dying, Pokemon Go is dying. There's still hundreds of thousands, millions of people playing Pokemon Go. Maybe not every day, but people playing it consistently. And that's evidenced through, you know, our community, and we can see that online with people watching videos, people interacting, people turning up to community days and things like that. One thing that surprised me a lot was that a large portion of my community on YouTube for Pokemon Go have never played a main series Pokemon game before. I just thought people were like, oh, you know, there's a chunk of them that haven't, which I thought was reasonable, but there's a lot of you guys. And that really surprised me, that how many of you have never played a main series Pokemon game. That Pokemon Go was truly your first avenue into Pokemon, and it's become a massive part of your life. It's something that you play every day, there are videos that you watch every single day around Pokemon Go. Part of your community, at least one weekend a month is spent with people in your community for community day. So it has become a massive avenue for new players in Pokemon. And what better way to then segue them and get them into learning the main series games than by having, I suppose, what is essentially Pokemon Lite. It's a main series, main console Pokemon game that's not quite as intense, not quite as labor intensive as the main series games. It doesn't seem like it's going to be focusing necessarily on battling wild Pokemon or Eevee training or kind of the more complex components. It looks like it's going to be fun, interactive, and a great way to introduce new people to the series. And one of the main benefits I see for this as well is I've had past co-workers that have asked me to suggest Pokemon games for their kids. Their kids had started getting into Pokemon, they've heard about Pokemon through Pokemon Go, but you know, they didn't want the kids to have their own mobile phones and things like that. What game can you recommend? And it's very hard because the first question is, can your kid read? And how adept at reading is your child? How old is your child? Because there's heaps of things in the main series Pokemon games that would be difficult to digest as a 4 or 5-year-old reading with basic reading skills, when a lot of the dialogue and text is kind of situated for older children. Anyone older than, I would say probably older than 8 and into adulthood. There are words that a 5-year-old just would not know how to read or wouldn't even know what they meant in main series games. And that's just basic dialogue between characters. So that's kind of been the main holdback for me, and I want these kids obviously to get into Pokemon. It's so much fun, it was such a massive part of my childhood, but when the main holdback is like, oh, there's a lot of text and a lot of reading, and like if you've never played one before, it's a little bit confusing to get into, but you can kind of just, like, they're a kid, they'll probably enjoy it anyway. This game looks like such an amazing cooperative gameplay experience for older sibling and younger sibling to co-op together, for parent and child to co-op together, or for even the child to take the main lead and the parent there to be to support, help them catch Pokemon, and help them into a main series game. A 5-year-old probably isn't gonna understand the complexities of Evee and Ivy training and moveset breeding and things like that that are niche in the core games. The kids are gonna know, I wanna catch that Jigglypuff, that's really cool. And this is a way that we can get them, transition them into a main series game, help them grow up with the game and have the same experiences that we had as kids. So I think this is really, really awesome as a feeder game. It's gonna feed people in to the Switch and then hopefully keep them around for the next game that rolls out next year, which will be most likely a main series game, Gen 8. I would imagine going back to more the roots and combining the elements, things that we've learned that people like in the new and things that we know people like from the core series games, and that more intense, more competitive gameplay as well together. Once again, these are just my opinions and what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that this is going to be an awesome new addition to the main series of games? Do you think this is a bit of a waste, or do you think that, hey, wait, this is pretty smart, more people playing the game means more investment in Pokemon, which means more longevity for the brand and for the IP as a whole? So you let me know what you think as well. Either way, I'm going to be picking up a copy of the game myself. I don't know which one I want to get because both Pikachu and Evee are so cute. So I'm gonna wait for more news to pop out before I make my decision on which one I'm gonna grab. But yes, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. And tomorrow we're gonna talk Pokemon Quest, which is also on the Switch. So have an awesome day, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.